Hello everyone, it's Just a Dad. Today we're going to do the first look on the much anticipated Eufy S2 robot vacuum cleaner. So this was just released about 2 or 3 months ago, but there was a recall on it. And so my first purchase didn't go through, they didn't ship any, and then I had to wait a couple months. Now I finally got it. Now I did buy this with my own money. It's retailing for $1,600 right now. But if you want to find the robots that I already recommend, check out my website, justadadapproved.com. If you purchase a product off of my website, the product's not going to cost you anymore, but I am an Amazon affiliate. Those are links. If you click on them, it's going to take you to the Amazon website where you can purchase the product, and I do earn a small commission from the sale. So in this video, we're going to talk about, there is some assembly here. We're going to connect it to the app. We'll do a first cleaning, but we're going to go through the details of this robot. And here we have the Just a Dad specs that I think are important. You can find this on my website, justadadapproved.com. 30,000 pascals of suction, side reach for one of the brushes. They are anti-tangle. 15 newtons of downward pressure for the mop pad. Split brush dual roller. This is the Eufy E25 had this and it did a good job. Water tank, no video camera. It says it can do 2 inches of chassis lift, threshold, has a built-in fragrance system, hot water, hot air, a dirt detect sensor, proprietary solution bottle, which I don't like. And it does have top dock control and electrolyzed water. Now I'm going to have to use this robot for about 2 to 3 months before we'll see if it gets the Just a Dad approved sticker. This is Home of the Honest Review. I am not sponsored and I do buy these products with my own money. I want to get you the best robot at the best price. So here's everything that comes in the box. We've got to install a ramp. We got an extra dust bag, a power cord. Here's the top control panel we've got to install. Here's the fragrance refills. Here's the proprietary solution bottle. Looks like a clean water tank, dirty water tank we've got to install. Here's the actual robot. Again, split brush dual roller, carpet sensor. It has a side brush that goes into a corner, a mop roller. This is where the auto empty system is. There's the obstacle avoidance sensor on the front. Over here on the dock, we want to remove this. Here's where the dust bag lives. So we'll have to replace that dust bag every couple months. Down here, it does have a removable tray, but you're still going to have to clean down here. That's where the dirty water is going to go. Around back, it's got a power cord, 3-prong, 5 feet long. Okay, during mop washing, it can use up to 1,350 watts of power. Okay, let's install this top control panel. There's an electrical connection. You're going to line it up and then press it in. It should click into place. I didn't really hear a click, but it is installed. If you need to uninstall it, press that button. And around back, there's where that tank goes. And here's that's the clean water tank is around front. That's the electrolyzing that it does. That's what that electrical connection's for. It can electrolyze the water for sterilization. Line up the ramp and install it. Base station is pretty big, 19 inches or 48 centimeters. Widest part is down here, 15 inches or 38 centimeters. Now this is a rather tall unit and you have to be able to lift that bottle out. So right now it's about 26 or 67 centimeters, but you need almost 32 inches or 80 centimeters above it so you can lift that dirty water tank out. Here's the proprietary solution bottle. We want to take both of these off. Take the clean water tank out, press that down and rotate it in like that. The Eufy S2 is 4 inches tall, or just about 10 centimeters tall. You know, left to right, you're looking at about 13 1/4 or 33 centimeters. Now up top here, we have a home button. I like that these are physical buttons, like a power play also. Here's the obstacle avoidance and the navigation sensor. There is a light right here. I don't think it has LiDAR navigation that's spinning underneath there. There's the side brush that it can extend into the corner. A sensor on the side. Come around back. It does fill the robot up with water. Charging. This is where it empties the robot's dirty water tank. Here's the dustbin. So we're going to press these 2 buttons and this comes out. Here's the fragrance. We're going to put the fragrance in. Nice large opening for the auto empty. There's where it vacuums everything up. Dustbin looks like a new design, new filter. This is reusable. You'll have to clean that once in a while. And this does come off. Rotate this. and then pull that out. Got like a screen there. So this is all washable. There's a trap door on the bottom here. That's the auto empty. Rotate it, lock it into place. Snap that so it's nice and flush. Over here, there's like a set of LED lights or something. Not sure exactly what that's for. Take the dustbin, snap it into place. Here's the fragrances that you get. They do smell pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and install a fragrance. Here's what it looks like. There is the word top. So let's see how to install it. So it looks like if you can read the word top, it just slides in there, and then that's held in there. It's a little hard to get the lid off, but round back is the dirty water tank. Pinch these two tabs, pull it off. We've got a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of maintenance to do in here. This is a door that you're going to pull up. That's where it's going to suck the water out of the dirty water tank. You'll have to clean this once in a while. It is cleanable. We've got these filters here. You'll have to replace these and clean these once in a while. Nice and big. And the same with over here. Now this was a little challenging to get this red thing out. So this is a big rubber thing that does not come out as far as I can tell. But this red thing does. And the first time getting it out, you're going to take this tab and then you got to kind of pull it past this hard rubber. You can do it, but the first time I felt like I was going to pull this out. It's got a lanyard, but you got to clean all of that. That's like a filter for the dirty water scraper. And then that gets stored like that. And then you got to kind of reach in there. It's a little hard. Push that down. Looks like a float. Here's the bottom. Press that. That's going to release the mop roller. I like that it comes up at an angle. Here we've got where the water is. The scraper is built into the dirty water tank. That's what's going to scrape everything off. It does extend up against the wall. So it will move that up against the wall. There's the auto empty. Here's your drive wheels. And let's take a look. This is the brush roller, split in the middle for long hair management. There is a little comb down there. So the long hairs are not going to wrap around this. They're going to be directed to the middle and get sucked in. This extends into the corner, and that's an anti-tangle design. This is an anti-tangle design that doesn't extend. This is a carpet sensor. I'm not sure exactly what that sensor is. This wheel just spins free. These are your cliff sensors, so it doesn't fall down your stairs. Again, this big black rubber thing is permanently attached, I'm pretty sure. You can see it's quite a big scraper. And see, that thing wants to come out. All right, you're going to line this up in the track. Push it in, make sure it clicks in and nice and flush. Put the lid on, you're ready to go. Okay, we're going to turn the robot on by pressing the power button for about 5 seconds. You'll see that light come on. The brush has been doing some stuff. You do have to get the Eufy app. You got to log in with a username and password. It's free to use. Click the little plus button, add a device. The S series, it's the S2. It's powered on. Click that button, hit next. Reset the device. So you're going to press and hold both buttons for 3 seconds. Now, up to this point, it hasn't talked to me. I really haven't heard a volume or anything. I did put it in the charging dock. I heard the word charging. Now let's try pressing both of them down. Okay. Okay, hit reset complete. Next, it's initializing. So this tablet is on the same Wi-Fi that I want that to connect to. So hit here, it found it, hit connect. Okay, you're going to select your Wi-Fi, give it your Wi-Fi password, and now it says it's connecting. That was pretty quick. Now this up here says 50%. Oh, it just disconnected. It might have an update or something to do. It says it's back online now. So hit here. Next. I've got everything installed. Yep. I agree. There is an update, and I recommend doing it now. Upgrade now. Upgrade now. I'll let you know how long it takes to turn auto update on, but sometimes this can take. Okay, that took about 10 minutes, so be patient. We got to go to map management. Normally I thought there was a pop-up, but go to this right here. Manage map. We need to create a map. Get started. So it's going to randomly go around your home and create a map. It's pretty cool. You get to see it in live time. It'll start displaying here. It says there's a voice pack update. We'll do that later. It's not going to clean your home. It's just going to simply go around in random patterns. Make sure your doors are open. This will get better as it goes. It looks like it's really doing 3D a lot, looks like. Yeah, it's really concentrating on the 3D look, which I don't know if I'm a big fan of or not. I kind of like that look. Okay, mapping didn't go quite as smooth as I would have liked. It didn't go down this hallway. I've got all my doors open, so I'm going to have to remap. I typically don't have to remap. Let's delete that map, but it happens, so we'll see. And then let's create a map again. Get started. Quick mapping. Yeah, for some reason it stopped going down that hallway. Again, everything's open. There's a rug there, but it just stopped. Okay, the second map did a much better job. There's the map of our home. Again, you can display it like a 3D. You can pinch and zoom. Let's go into some recommended settings. Click the gear icon. Put it on a schedule. That's the number one thing I tell people to do. Map. You can map more than one home. Let's go edit the map. Edit the map right there. Okay, we want to divide. I want to divide this room. And so you got to move that. That's where I want to divide it. Right about there. Nope. That wall actually extends a little farther than what this is showing. So I'll have to make do with that. You can merge, rename. Let's rename this room. I definitely recommend using the names they give you. Wait on the carpet setting. Have it clean your entire home a few times, and then you can go in and mess with the carpet setting. Let's do floor material. So I know this room is wood. And I guess I can't give it a direction. Nope. So no cleaning along floor direction. Furniture, I typically don't add. No-go zones. You can add these later. You can do a no mop zone, virtual wall, or a no-go zone. I know back here it's going to struggle. There's a bunch of computer cables on the ground, so the robot will completely stay away from this area. All right, click the gear icon. Cleaning preferences. Boost IQ. When it detects carpet, it ramps up the suction. Lower side brushes on carpet. So you can turn the side brushes on or off on carpet. They're off by default. High detection sensitivity. Adjust the robot's height detection sensitivity to accommodate furniture of various heights. You know, I'm not sure what to put this on yet. I would just leave it on temps to lower. There's the breakthrough mode and the low space avoidance. Auto return and cleaning is on. That's good. Wow, that's base station. Let's go to base station settings. Pet mode. Automatically applies pet-friendly settings when enabled. Not even sure what that is. Auto empty. Yeah, you want the auto empty, the dustbin. Frequency. This is good. You can go 15, 30, or 45. I definitely recommend on 15 minutes. Empty modes. You don't want low noise. Definitely do it on standard. Low noise, it may not suck everything out. Auto mop washing frequency. You can choose by room or by duration. You can go all the way down to every 16 minutes or all the way up to it'll use more water the lower this is. Auto drying, standard dry, or quick dry. I like quick dry. Might be a little louder. Auto detergent added. Cleans. That's the what do they call that? The enzyme Eco Clean Ozone is on. Base station settings. Man, we don't get very many settings at all. Eufy Lab. Welcome to Eufy Lab. Do you want it to recognize a dirty spot? That's off by default. I'm going to wait for that. I like to use the default settings for now. More settings. AIC settings is on. Smart no-go zones is on. Do not disturb. I definitely recommend leaving that on. These things will start in the middle of the night. Dust box light. That's what that was. It's on by default. I want to see what it looks like. Square feet, manual controls, firmware update. I recommend turning that on. We already did our update. 3D resource update. They love this 3D. I'm not sure what 3D. I just like a map. That's all I want. Accessory services. This is when it's going to tell you it's time to change the side brushes or clean things, and then you got to reset the timer. Voice settings. You can update the... Those things are pretty quick usually. You can do the volume there. Off-peak charging's off. Activity log. User experience optimization. It's going to generate data. Find my robot and remove. Okay. Device info. That's where you can change the name. You do have manual dock controls right here. I could tell it to wash the mop, dry the mop, empty the dustbin right here. Go back. So let's check the modes out. I do have an AI. They don't tell us. Intelligently identifies carpets, floor materials such as tile and marble, hardwood floor, and it changes the strategies based on that. So if you turn the AI on, it's going to figure out the suction power, the route, the water level, all of that for you. And I think it gets a lot of that information on what you designate the rooms as. So picking the room names is pretty important when you want the automatic automation. But you can just tell it you want it to vacuum and mop or vacuum only. There is no mop only. Three patterns. When we're on vacuum and mop, you just got 3 water levels. And suction power, just 4. You can save that as a common task. You can also do a room. So the order you select these rooms in, that's the order it'll clean them in. Then you can do a zone. Carpet cleaning or zone cleaning. That's interesting. So I can pick a zone and it'll clean that zone according to how I tell it to. And I could add more zones. Okay, let's do the first cleaning. We're going to tell it to clean the corner testing area, vacuum and mop, mopping intensity, medium water level, and 2 passes. It's going to wash the mop, and it's going to fill the water tank up with water that's inside the robot. There it is, electrolyzing the water. Now, I will say, it is a lot quicker than the original S1 as far as washing the mop roller, getting it wet when it first starts to go clean. That takes very little time at all. Okay, we're going to see how well the Eufy S2 cleans up these muddy paw prints and this big mess. It's going to vacuum and mop at the same time. It's doing a good job of mopping. We did leave a little bit in that corner. All right, looks like it left a little bit of mud, but it is going to do 2 passes. Okay, it's going to start the second. That side brush reach is a little weird. It didn't get everything on the first pass. It's like the brush is too small and it doesn't like to hug the wall. It seems a little lost going up against the wall. But on the second pass, at least it is doing the perimeter of the room. It did a better job there. Second pass definitely got it a lot cleaner. Now here's what this dustbin like. Now, it looks really cool in the video. It's not that super cool well, I guess it is a little cool in person. It's not as clear. I mean, that's a pretty cool design, actually, but I don't know how useful it is. Now, with the lid off, that's the coolest part. Seems like they should have just left the lid off. Okay, enough playing around with the light. The floor is clean. I mean, it does a good job of cleaning, of mopping. That's an excellent job of mopping. I'm going to pause it. All right, let's examine this. It is up against the filter, so that sometimes can cause loss of suction, but I didn't smell this as much as I thought I would smell it. Let's take a look at the dirty. I guess this is the biggest surprise. I just expect there to be more water in there. You know, if it says I mean, it did a good job cleaning, that's obvious. But this is trapping most of the dirt. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It isn't perfectly scraping all of that dirt and putting it in here. In fact, there's hardly any water at all in here. So while the mop rollers say they don't spread dirt, I mean, they do a pretty good, they just got more fluff on them, I think. But it's not like putting it in. We did get a hairball right there, but it hasn't auto-emptied yet, so we don't hold that against it yet. And that's just for me dumping it upside down. So this, again, it just doesn't, like, that makes any sense. Okay, it's traveling back. It's going to empty out the dirty water tank, wash the mop roller.
Charging. Start collecting dust.
left a hairball. Now it's spinning that brush roller, I think, back and forth. But there's definitely a hairball, but maybe it'll get it out next time. But it sucked that hairball up that was in between the two brush rollers. Now, I'm having to do manual. I messed up the logic by starting and stopping it there. So I don't know if it auto empties first or second, or washes the mop pad first or second. But anyway, now it's washing the mop roller. And it's electrolyzing that water. They don't tell us much about that. If that is such a big deal, that should be really front and center. Like, why is that so important? We don't see any kind of emptying. It does heat the water, and it does blow hot air on it at the end. I do like these controls up here. That's from the S1. Tanks are bigger, looks like, from the S1. Everything does seem noticeably quieter. The washing of the mop, auto empty. There's the dirty water going up. There, we can see it right here. Now, it does have a dirt detection sensor, but again, I messed the logic up. I was wanting to take that out, but I can't. So it does have a dirt detection sensor. I got to learn more about it, whether it only uses that in AI or, again, I started and stopped it, so it kind of lost its logic. There's the cleaning pattern again. Center of the room's really good. Edge of the room is off just a little bit. This all sounds like the S1, kind of back and forth with a brush roller, a water pump, and a dirty water pump every once in a while. Okay. Now, mop drying, it's not super quiet, but it's not super loud either. And then every once in a while, it'll scare you. You'll hear a zzz. It turns the roller.
Back into the
Okay, this has got me a little concerned. There's a big hairball on this, which I'm going to show you. That hairball was, now it's good, it was right here, trapped between these two brush rollers. And by design, we really don't want it to be stuck right there. We want it to be eventually sucked up into the dustbin. But during the auto empty, it sucked it up into the dustbin. And during the process of doing this, I tipped it over. The dirty water tank still had a bunch of dirty water in it. Now, if you follow the path, it's going to suck the water from here, which goes to here, which goes to this big filter. And then from that filter, it's going to suck that little line. That little line goes to the bottom of the tank, but it doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the tank. So there's always going to be a little bit of water left in the bottom of the tank because it never fully sucks it completely out. So this is all part of the process. That is already starting to break. I've only pulled that out like 3 or 4 times now, and I can see that plastic is beginning to break. So I know we don't have to pull out a bunch, but you do have to, you have to pull it out once in a while. Here's that hairball that was inside here. This is a completely new design that I've seen. I haven't. You typically see this in cordless vacuum cleaners. I do like that it's. I don't know. I just don't know enough about it yet. Let's see how well the Eufy S2 picks up this big mess on carpet. I've got it on its highest vacuuming power possible. Bunch of kitty litter, coffee, cereal, and some long hairs. It's doing a pretty good job of vacuuming. There's the kitty litter. There is a tremendous amount of air coming out the side, and it is blowing quite a bit of the debris. It is on its highest level. It is pretty loud, actually. But it's actually doing a pretty good job of vacuuming. It struggles with the chunks a little bit. It's kind of pushing them and not necessarily vacuuming them up. Now, there was a lot of long hair, not a true torture test. We'll see how well it does. I'm not going to interrupt it. There's a bunch of long hair. It does seem to be yeah, it's vacuuming the long hair on the first pass. It left one or two right here. The light is pretty cool, pretty fun. So it's going to do 2 passes on this room. Now, it did blow a bunch of the debris away from the zoned area. There was a bunch of debris blown over there. So it's going to do the perimeter of the room for the second pass. So on this second pass, navigation seems a little off. It's done 3 circles right in this one area, and I wasn't stepping there or anything. Now it seems to kind of... It did recognize my shoe over here, but you can see those 3 circles. Now it does have chassis lift. I'm not sure exactly when it lifts it, but it did lift it there. And you can have it turn the side brushes whenever it... Yeah, see, there's chassis lift. Then it puts it down. I don't think we can control that chassis lift. Here it is going on the second pass. I think it finally picked up that Cheerio, yeah. The navigation is kind of calmed down and it's going in straight lines now. So it is pretty much getting this floor pretty clean. Now we got to check the auto empty. That's going to be the next key. Yeah, this is a drastic improvement for vacuuming, but it has to be able to auto empty everything because that dustbin is pretty full. And now that there's a lot of airflow going through there, that air freshener is kind of annoying. At first I like the smell, but now I don't. Okay, all done, heading back to the dock. It finds the dock really easy, backs up good.
Charging. Start collecting dust.
That light doesn't come on. So I was trying to show you the auto empty towards the end. There's a hairball. Now it's gonna, I don't know, it ain't gonna wash the mop. Okay, yeah, we can take a look. So it's going back to clean and it had a tail. I should have been there. So what it was is it had gotten to the point where it needed to auto empty again. It wasn't finished with the task. So we've grown a tail. So the task wasn't done. In fact, it actually brought more debris over here. I thought it was all the way done. Now keep in mind, this is the first test.
Charging.
And is it not going to auto empty? Now it should auto empty. It's done with the task. Yeah, sometimes I don't like that logic when it says it auto emptied. It should auto empty as much as it. Every time it docks, it should auto empty. As we can see, it definitely needs it. Here's the zone clean. Hard to see the cleaning pattern. We don't get a whole lot of information. Okay, where'd the tail come from? Ooh, a hairball. So, like I suspected, now I didn't put a big clump like that down. That's just a bunch of individual ones that it picked up.
Dust been removed.
Man, it was close. I got to do more testing on this, but this is a flagship robot that is struggling with auto empty. Maybe if it would have auto emptied that last time, but it still had that tail. It still had it kind of going out. We did not get any hair wrap, but I've noticed this on Eufys before. This is not an old design. This is not a new design. This is an older design. In my previous hair testing, these seem they need to be a little bit more tapered, I think, because I've seen hair get caught here. Now, that's not to say the Roborock design is tremendously better. It is better, I think. They all struggle with that kind of long hair test, but in fact, that wasn't I've tested more in the past. I was probably pretty lenient on this one. In fact, did get a Cheerio right here. And I got concerns about this dirty water tank. That's going to be a lot of maintenance, a lot of integral parts. And that foam part looks like it's going to break.
Charging. So
here I'm getting ready to review the brand new Roborock Edge 2. Looks pretty cool. It's cheaper than that. So that's a flagship price for that S2. That's a $1,600 robot. Wow. So we have to hold $1,600 robots to a very high standard. Hair wrap is going to be a concern. I've got to do some more testing on that. Navigation up against the walls, I got to do a lot more testing on that. That seems off a little bit. And they're not saying they have LiDAR navigation. Maybe it's got these, what they call it, static LiDAR or solid state LiDAR. I think Roborock has it, and does it very well. It's extremely loud vacuuming, a lot of airflow. The dirty water tank, that's going to be a concern. Like the Roborock Curve 2 flow right there, its dirty water tank is relatively simple to work on. And everything about it, mop rollers in general are hard to work on, but this one has a lot more work. And I don't think we're getting that much of as you see, it's not like scraping all the dirt off, putting it into the dirty water tank. Those ads, they're just not doing that. Proprietary solution bottle. At this stage of the game, we should not be using proprietary solution bottles. Let us buy the solution in bulk, fill up a container. I mean, that picture right there sums it up. That's, this was a mess that other robots handle. They vacuum it up, they auto empty it, and they're ready for the next battle. Just got the L60 Pro Ultra in. I just had to bring the Narwhal Flow home. It's going to be a no-go for me. It can't do my carpet. The Flow 2, I don't know if people are reviewing these robots or what, but the minute I took this to my house, it can't even map my house. I have standard carpet. I got to contact Narwhal, but this is the exact same thing that happened on the Flow 1, but I'll see if I get a new unit or something. But another Dreamy, another Roborock. That's the S Pro now. Getting ready to do the Edge 2 next. This thing looks like a Curve X, but in a Q Revo base station. Be sure and check out the website, justadadapproved.com. I appreciate everybody's support. Again, I do use links if you purchase the product. If you want to see the products that I recommend right now, there's no way I could recommend that S2 right now. I got a lot more tests. I got to take it to my home. The Dyson's not doing very well. The Dyson Spot and Scrub that I have, it performed pretty good here in the studio, and I was excited about it. At home, oh, it is, yeah. It has a lot to do with how tall it is. It's just not ready for the big leagues yet, so it's going to be coming back to the studio soon, and it's pretty beat up. Anyway, Saros 20 is doing, Saros 20 is a little bit cheaper than this, and it's doing an amazing job at the home. So again, thanks everybody for watching. JustADataProved.com. It's going to have all the specs, all the reviews, the go-to place for robot vacuum cleaners and other products. Right now, I've got all the robot vacuum cleaners. The website's going to eventually have all the other products that I've ever reviewed. I've reviewed over 100 cordless vacuum cleaners. They just don't change very much. So those reviews are kind of solid. When they do release new ones, they're not really doing much. I know Dyson's got some new upgrades. I'll get those, but nothing like the robot vacuum cleaner industry. That's a $1,700 robot, the S2. Not off to a good start. Thanks everybody for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe button. Also check out where you can find all my approved products on my website, JustADataProved.com. You'll see a little link to it here at the end of the video. If you click on that, that's going to take you right to my website.